When you think of a map, you probably imagine something pretty permanent, right? Borders drawn in ink, countries locked in place. But what if I told you that the power map of South Asia is being completely redrawn as we speak, and not with armies and invasions, but with quiet, calculated strategy and a whole lot of ambition? We're talking about a fundamental shift in who calls the shots, and it's all happening right now. So this really brings us to one single massive question. After decades of a pretty clear pecking order, is the entire power balance in South Asia about to completely fracture? Because all the signs are pointing to yes, we are absolutely on the edge of a major change. Look, for a long time, South Asia has basically been an India-centric region. That was just the reality. But that's changing, and it's changing fast. A new kind of order, a multipolar one, is starting to take shape. And its main purpose? To directly challenge India's top dog status. To really get why this is such a big deal, we got to take a quick look back at how we even got here. Okay, so let's rewind the tape a bit. India's position as the regional heavyweight, well, that wasn't some kind of historical accident. It was forged in the fire of some very specific global shifts. All right, so back during the Cold War, the region was pretty much split down the middle. You had Pakistan, which was firmly in the Western camp, and then you had India, which was trying to play it cool and be non-aligned. But then the early 2000s hit and everything got flipped on its head. India's economy just exploded. At the exact same time, Pakistan was getting bogged down with some serious internal security problems. And Washington? Well, they saw which way the wind was blowing and started backing India as a check on China. The result? A massive power shift that left India as the undisputed center of gravity for the whole region. But here's the thing about power. Nothing lasts forever, right? That era of clear-cut Indian dominance is now being actively challenged. And the pushback isn't just coming from one direction. It's coming from multiple angles all at once. First up, you've got a resurgent Pakistan. Islamabad is getting tired of being defined only as India's rival. It's making a real push to reclaim its own political space and sees a huge opportunity right now to reshape the entire game. Then, of course, there's the elephant in the room, China. For years, Beijing's influence was mostly about the money, building huge infrastructure projects. But now it's stepping up its game. It wants a real seat at the table when it comes to regional security and politics. And here's a really fascinating piece of this puzzle, the rise of Bangladesh. Dhaka is starting to push back and hard against what it sees as Delhi's heavy-handedness. It's no longer content to be a smaller player. It's becoming a genuine power in its own right, especially in the super-strategic Bay of Bengal. So you've got all these different challengers pushing for the same thing, multipolarity. It's a bit of a buzzword, I know. So what does it actually mean for South Asia? Let's break it down. And this is the key thing to understand. Multipolarity here doesn't mean creating a region where everyone's an equal superpower. Not at all. It's about watering down India's overwhelming influence by building up other powerful players. Think of it less like replacing the sun and more like adding a few more large planets to the solar system, specifically China, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. The goal isn't to topple India, but to create several centers of power instead of just one. And this isn't just talk. There's a very clear three-step playbook, and it seems to be driven largely by Islamabad. Step 1. Get China to be more than just the region's banker. Get Beijing to step up as a real security player. Step 2. Empower Bangladesh. That means helping strengthen its military, especially its Navy and Air Force, to create a counterweight to India at sea. And Step 3. Build new clubs that India isn't invited to. Basically, create a whole alternative diplomatic playground. Now, a shift this big could send South Asia down two totally different roads. On one side, you've got some real opportunities, but on the other, well, there are some very serious risks. So, on the bright side, a more balanced region could give smaller countries like Sri Lanka or Nepal more options, more leverage. They wouldn't be so dependent on India. It might also stop one country from being able to just paralyze the whole system, like when India boycotted the 2016 SAARC summit and basically shut it down. But the flip side is pretty dangerous. This could just crank up the competition, splitting the region into rival camps. And you can bet that would trigger a really aggressive pushback from India, which is not going to give up its top spot without a fight. But hold on, this is far from a done deal. There are some major hurdles. First, India is not just going to stand by and watch this happen. It's going to use its massive economic and diplomatic power to stay on top. Second, Bangladesh's own internal politics can be pretty unstable, which could make it an unreliable partner in this grand plan. And finally, let's not forget the deep, painful history between Pakistan and Bangladesh from the 1971 war. Those are wounds that haven't fully healed, and they could easily torpedo any long-term alliance. To really understand where this might be headed, it's fascinating to look back at a very similar moment in history, a moment that some are now calling the 1985 echo. This quote just nails the thinking here. What happened was, back in 1985, Pakistan pulled off this brilliant diplomatic move. It got together with the smaller nations in the region and created SAARC, the main regional forum. And the whole point, really, was to create a setting where India had to act like one of the team, not the team captain. Islamabad today thinks it might just be able to pull off a repeat performance. And so that leaves us with the critical, unanswered question. Is this new push for a multipolar South Asia going to be a repeat of that 1985 diplomatic success, creating a more balanced and cooperative region? Or is it going to backfire spectacularly, sparking a new era of intense rivalry and dangerous division? Right now, the future of the entire power map of South Asia is truly hanging in the balance.